Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Um, Today we will talk about how to build an MCP, which is MCP server. So something I will show you like something like this. This is an MCP server that I have already built, which is a Postgres MCP. So uh, why first let me tell what is MCP and why we are building this. So every AI assistant that we use, right? Claude, be it Cursor or be it ChatGPT, they are all, if you if I have to, they are kind of blind, right? They can read our code, uh, they can write as well, but they can't actually see the data. So now let's say you want to know how many users signed up this week, right? You have a web app, something like that, and you want to know how many users signed up this week. Uh, so that and your AI assistant runs the query against your real Postgres database and give you the answer. This is what we want. So this is what I will showcase like this is what we are building today, a Postgres MCP server in Go from scratch. It will be simple, though I am not writing the code. So I will, since I have written the code already, I will show you how you can build it yourself. So if you are a backend engineer, this might be most useful thing you build this month. So let's talk about what is an MCP. Let's talk about what is an MCP is, okay. So let's say, let me open a diagram. Let me remove this. Let's say we have here AI client, and we have my server, and then I have a Postgres server. Now this is, and we can say, so what we'll do is AI client will call my server, which is an MCP server using MCP protocol. MCP protocol, my server we call basically my Postgres server, and basic whatever the AI client is, whatever we want to see, like number of signups and all those things, based on that, AI client will call the server, and server will fire an appropriate query and call the Postgres server and return the data. So so quick revision of MCP is that MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard originally created by Anthropic, that lets AI models talk to external tools and data source, which in this case is Postgres, through a unified interface, which is MCP protocol right now. So think of it like this, that before MCP, right, if you wanted Claude to access your database, you need to build a custom plugins, correct? You need to build custom plugin, a custom maybe a API maybe, or custom auth. Every AI tool has its own way of doing it, right? So it's not a generalized way that you are building. Now once you, now with the MCP, it's, think of it like a unified interface. So one is standard, you build one server once, MCP server once, and it will work with Claude, your Claude, your Cursor, or any of the MCP compatible clients. So it's not that you have to rewrite server every time that you are using a different AI client. It's just a so if I written one MCP for Postgres, it will work for all the MCP compatible client. So this way, the way it works is simple, okay. So the MCP server, which is this, it exposes the tool, right? This server exposes the tools, right? Just functions. Tools are nothing but functions with a name, description, and a JSON schema for inputs. So what happens is that the AI model sees these tools, and decide when to use them, and call them through a protocol JSON RPC. Okay. So today in this video we will build three tools. One is one we will build is list table uh, for showing all the tables that are there in the database. Then we will build describe tables, and we will build a run query. Describe table is nothing but show the schema of a specific table. When you say describe table, let's say customer, it will show you the schema, a DDL of that table, tells about what columns it contains and all those things. Run query is basically we will execute a read-only query. See, we can definitely execute write-only query as well, but I won't recommend that. Reason being, since if you might be running this MCP server for production database, it is not advisable that you are giving AI client to access your production Postgres system and run the write queries. So we should not do that. So that's it. Three tools, but together they let an AI assistance fully explore and query our database. Okay. Now, since the project is already there with me, so this is the project. Okay. So let's me give a walkthrough. So we are using this particular library called we are using Go SDK to build our MCP server. So what we are doing is when we are creating the first tool called, as we have created three tools here. One is list, another is list table, describe table, and the third one is run query, right? So uh, what happens here is list table, whenever AI calls this, right? Whenever AI calls the list table, we query the information schema. So information schema in Postgres contains the information about the table that are present in the database. So what happens here is that we have written the query like so this is a simple query against information schema table, collects the table names and returns them as a formatted string. Okay, so if you see this is what we are returning here. Now that's tool one. Okay, now this is the second tool. So what we are doing here is we are writing another tool called as describe table. So we want to know what that table contains. Again, we are querying information schema here to get the columns and understand the schema and show it to the user whenever user try to say describe me customer table and all those things. Before that, we also have added a validation so that if the table is not present which we are trying to describe, it will fail. So that's why we have this conditional check here. So uh, so this is written this way. We are querying, we have written a query that check the table exists. Once the table exists, we are querying all the columns, data type, and all those things, and printing the and returning the text output to the user. So tool 2 is this. AI can now see what table exists and understand their structure. One more tool that I mentioned that we will be adding is the running of the query, right? So this is the code for that. What we are doing here is that we are passing the query, right? We are asking, so query will be generated by AI client definitely. When you say give me the number of signups happened in last 24 hours, right? So AI client will generate a query, pass it to MCP server, and MCP server will get the query and execute the query, right? So we additionally, as I said, right, I'm only this MCP will only support read only queries, and ideally if you are running this MCP for the in front of your production database, ideally they should only support read only because AI might make mistakes. So if you are running write only queries, write all queries as well, then it can cause production issues. So that's why insert, update, delete, drop, alter, truncate, create, grant, revoke, these are blocked queries. So whenever AI, if by mistake try to execute these queries, it will be blocked by your MCP server itself. Then I also don't want that the query is blocked for infinite time, right? So that's why the query timeout is set here as 5 seconds, and then we are running this query. So also, if 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 there is certain queries which can return multiple records, right, it will also it will also take the high IOPS. So that's and also increases the return. So that's why we are capped it at 200 rows to return at one time. So this is the read query we have written. So so these are the three tools that we have added in our code. Now, how we bind all these things is that, by the way, these all things are there in the documentation of this particular library, right? How you can create an MCP server and all. So if you see that we are connecting to the database, we are creating a server, then we are adding these three tools that we have added with a handler of these tools, right? So whenever a list table is called, so AI client can invoke this thing and get the list of the table present in the database, similar for describe table as well as similar for running the query. And so our main functions right now is registering function creates the server, register all these three tools, and start listening over STDIO transport, right? STDIO is a standard for local MCP server. The AI client just spawn. So when we add, right, once we have this, right now this is a Go code, but you can create a binary out of it and put it in some place. So what happens is when we add this as a MCP server in the maybe in Claude or Codex or MCP or any MCP compatible client, so they spawn this as a they spawn the binary as a sub process and communicate over STD in and STD out. So this is the whole process of creating MCP server. For now, for this purpose, I have already created this. So if you see, once you have the MCP server, right, once you add it in the Claude, when you say, can you list down the tables in Postgres, it is able to list down the tables that are there. You are asking for describing those tables, so it is able to describe those tables and you can see the information. Then the third tool that we have added is read SQL, read query. So you are asking AI like how many customers we have, right? So it can give you the information like there are 5 customers in total in your database, and also gives you if you so it is asking whether we want to dig deeper. So when I ask it to dig deeper, it is generating me like what are the plans they are subscribed to, and how much orders they have placed and all. So the reason why we are doing this is, think of this, right? We have a customer support team in our company, right? And they raises that they not customer support, but anyone wants to know like how many signups were happened in the last 24 hours, and they don't know the SQL. Definitely there would be definitely dashboard or something, but if they want to know this without knowing the SQL queries and just by using a natural language, now we have an MCP server. They can effectively able to get this data without the help of any developer who knows the SQL queries, right? Even they can also generate the stats out of the query, whatever the stats they require once they have the access to the database. Like if you see the deep dive that was done here, like, so it is telling Carol White, who has enterprise plan, has placed 2 orders and the total spent is 249.97. These are the things. Well, you can also generate the chart out of it and all those things. So this is the reason we built the MCP server. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it, subscribe it, leave the comments if you want to, like if you want me to cover any other topics. Thank you for watching.